By now, we've repeatedly discussed the Man in Black's ability to project non-corporeal forms to people who are in mentally vulnerable states. In these cases, the projected illusions can be seen, heard, and even felt to some degree. And while we know for certain the Man in Black's physical form is restricted to the perimeter of the island, what's less clear is whether this ability is as well. Given that the Man in Black's psychic powers are so immense, might he be capable of projecting these manifestations off-island? Well, this is seemingly suggested by the scene in which Jack disables a beeping smoke detector just before encountering the ghostly image of his father.
Jack?
The possibility that this and any other off-island apparition may have been the Man in Black is far too tantalizing to not at least explore. Chronologically speaking, Jack's sighting of his father isn't the first time we see what appears to be an undead Christian off of the island proper. Moments before his death, Michael hears the sound of the whispers as the form of Christian materializes before him. We can say with a fair degree of certainty that this is the Man in Black, based on the clothing he appears in. The same outfit the Man in Black as Christian is seen wearing throughout seasons 4 and 5. Not only that, but it would also make no sense for the genuine ghost of Christian Shepherd to appear to Michael, a man he had never met, in this moment. Of course, this raises the question of why the Man in Black would appear to Michael in this moment. He tells him, rather coldly, that he can die now.
You can go now, Michael.
Who are you?
Almost as if there had been a previous exchange between them in which the Man in Black had discouraged Michael from dying. Come to think of it, there was another time Michael heard the whispers on the freighter just before an apparent ghost materialized before him.
Don't do it, Michael.
Michael destroying the freighter at this stage would have prevented the mercenaries from reaching the island on their mission to torch it. A mission the Man in Black would have wanted to see carried out, as it would have eliminated most, if not all, of the remaining candidates. Whereas in the Season 4 finale, the moment Christian appears is almost the exact moment the Man in Black would have wanted the freighter destroyed. Every remaining candidate we know of, with the exception of Locke and Sawyer, the latter of whom had jumped from the helicopter at the last minute, was now on that freighter. And even with the helicopter narrowly escaping the explosion, thanks to even more of the Man in Black's machinations, the island was minutes away from being moved, leaving no viable option for a safe landing, and pretty much guaranteeing its passengers' deaths at sea. Unfortunately for the Man in Black, Penny's boat found and rescued the group that would become the Oceanic Six. After this, for the first time since their construction, the Man in Black had unfettered access to the now abandoned barracks. I believe this is when he first discovered most of the remaining candidates had ended up in the 70s and by all accounts been vaporized in the Jughead detonation. At which point the Man in Black would come to believe that ensuring the return of the candidates who left would result in them simply vanishing from existence, from his point of view, never to return. This is where the rest of the off-island apparitions we see in the series fit into the Man in Black's motivations. And as we know, they began with Hurley. Once the mounting pressure of maintaining the Oceanic Six's lie, a lie he never wanted to tell,
I don't think we should lie, dude.
caused Hurley to relapse into his paranoia.
Did you do this?
To what?
Those are the numbers. Right there, the numbers I won the lottery with.
Wow, what a coincidence.
No, not a coincidence. I don't want this. I don't want any of it.
Hugo, wait a minute, Hugo, what are you... Son, hey.
This provided the Man in Black with the opportunity he needed. Hurley now fit the required mentally vulnerable state.
I think we can see it because we're the craziest.
A state notably shared by his fellow Santa Rosa patients.
I'd watch out if I were you.
What are you talking about, dude?
There's a guy over there. He's staring at you.
What guy?
That guy.
It is worth noting that with enough willpower, Hurley was able to banish the image of Charlie from his mind, just as we see him do earlier in this same episode with the Man in Black's projected image of the cabin.
There's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. I'm gonna close my eyes and count to 5, and when I open it, you'll be gone.
I am here.
1,
Don't do this.
2,
They need you.
3,
They need you, Hugo.
4. You know they need you. 5.
However, this was only the first of Hurley's hauntings, each of which seemed to encourage him to return to the island.
You've got a lot of work to do.
I do?
And stay away from the cops. Do not get arrested.
But Hurley was far from enough. The person the Man in Black needed to convince the most, the one who would then stand the best chance of convincing the rest, was Jack.
I think it wants us to come back.
Hurley.
It's gonna do everything it can. We're never going back.
And while Jack's guilt over leaving the other 815ers behind, especially his own sister,
Her name was Claire.
was a mental vulnerability that was potentially useful for the Man in Black, it was still too repressed for him to fully exploit.
Jack? Jack?
But by using Hurley as a messenger, the Man in Black would be able to bring it to the surface.
Okay, so what did the two of you talk about?
Well, yesterday you told me you were going to be coming by. He wanted me to give you a message.
A message?
Made me write it down so I wouldn't mess it up. You're not supposed to raise him, Jack.
This exact message was perfectly constructed to have the effect that it does on Jack.
Hey, Jack? Charlie said someone's gonna be visiting you, too. Soon.
By forcing him to confront how wrong it is that he's raising the son of the sister he left behind, Charlie's message shatters the illusion of happiness Jack has wrapped himself in. An illusion he desperately tries to cling to when he immediately buys a ring and proposes to Kate. But the damage had been done, and he had now become susceptible to a far more imposing vision of his father.
Jack?
Jack?
This sends Jack spiraling over the edge and leaves him perfectly primed for the final piece of the Man in Black's manipulation. The message he gives to Locke.
Say hello to my son. Who's your son?
Your father says hello. He said his name was Christian.
My father is dead.
Well, he didn't look dead to me.
He died in Australia 3 years ago. I put him in the coffin. He's dead.
This is what finally forces Jack to stop denying his own inexplicable experiences, and convinces him he does indeed have to go back.
Jack booked a ticket.
What?
A plane ticket from Los Angeles to Sydney, tonight. Return trip first thing in the morning. Whatever you said to him, John, it worked. And if you got Jack, you can get the rest of them.
By proposing this interpretation of the off-island apparitions, I am obviously suggesting that Hurley did not suddenly manifest the ability to speak with the dead several months after leaving the island. And yet I myself have already acknowledged that he does demonstrate this ability in Season 6. At first, he alone is able to see Jacob.
Look, my friend Jin's gonna be here any second, so you better stop ignoring
Your friend Jin won't be able to see me
Why not?
because I died an hour ago.
Then later, he communes with the spirit of Richard's late wife.
I don't see her.
In part 1, I presented my conclusion that Jacob had already visited Hurley once before, prior to the crash of Flight 815. This is based on my strong belief that the Man in Black would have killed Hurley outright if he had been capable of doing so during Hugo's original time on the island. I also pointed out the unique nature of this cab ride compared to Jacob's other visits with candidates seen throughout this finale. In every other case, Jacob is far less overt in his interactions. Compared with these, he is much more forthright with Hurley about the fact he's there specifically to meet him.
Well, then what were you doing sitting outside a prison in a cab?
I was waiting for you, Hugo.
And even gives him something to use later on.
Wait! You forgot your guitar. It's not my guitar.
With these things in mind, it is my belief that Jacob also used this encounter to gift Hugo with the ability the Man in Black had tricked him into thinking he already had. In doing so, Jacob would have ensured he could give Hurley further instructions after he was dead.
You should probably get a pen. You're gonna have to write a few things down.
Without having to exert the amount of energy he would later on to make himself visible to everyone else.
Did you see a kid run by here with your ashes?
My ashes are right there in that fire. When it burns out, you'll never see me again.
This concludes the Smoke and Mirrors series dedicated to exploring the mysterious waking apparitions seen throughout the series. I hope you enjoyed it and found the points worth considering, even if I didn't convince you to share my interpretation in every case. This channel's next video essay will function much the same as this one. It will explore every dream we see on screen throughout the series, presenting the case for why the Man in Black may have been behind each of them, including what his goals would likely have been in each case. Until next time, namaste and good luck. Oh, you're still here. Hopefully that means you enjoyed this video. If so, please consider sticking around and being a constant for this channel by clicking right up here to subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell icon if you would like to be notified when more videos like this one arrive. In the meantime, feel free to check out previous content from this channel
by clicking here or here. Oh no. Please subscribe.